If you're building your ABA company and you're tired of guessing, this is for you. We built the EBCBA blueprint to give you real structure, systems, and support without the fluff. Details are in the description.
So you're building your summer program, or you don't have a summer program, or maybe you have one and you want to improve it. And it's difficult to put all this stuff together, right? And keep people engaged, keep your kiddos engaged. Lee is here to discuss building your ABA summer program or transforming an existing one, planning the curriculum, planning out your programs, and making sure you have a good ROI. And I know we got to make sure that we have money coming in. You're not going to be able to help anybody if you're broke. So doing these things is twofold. You're helping people and you're making money so you can help more people. With that, Lee has been in the ABA market as a behavior technician for 7 years, and he hasn't had time to go back to school and do all the BCBA stuff because he's been working and planning these programs and doing this stuff. So that's been his focus, and he's been pulled in a lot of different directions to fill a lot of gaps in his career and with the organizations he's been working with. With that, Lee, welcome. Thank you for all your time that you spent on this, and take it away, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you, Derek and Josh. I appreciate the opportunity you've given us all to sit here and be able to share this type of knowledge that I think is a huge opportunity in ABA right now. Hopefully I can present enough information, not just for you all to understand the value that an ABA program can bring to your business, your companies, and your clients, but ultimately that it doesn't have to be as expensive as you think, and it can actually save you a lot of time in the process of developing your summer programs, which is one of the myths a lot of people have, is that it takes too much time. But hopefully I can prove to you that's not necessarily the case. All right, let me see. Is it showing?
Yeah, it's showing the notes and your slides and everything. You might have to kill your pop-up blocker on your browser to be able to show the Canva pop-up.
Okay, let's see. Yay, technology.
Jacqueline, welcome. Joel, welcome. Still got more people coming in. This is great.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. No, that's fine.
Mac is a little funny sometimes about the presentation stuff.
That's fine. Can you see this now?
Share your screen again. There you go. Nice. Perfect. Looks great.
Again, thank you all for being here. As I mentioned, essentially, I'm going to take you through some of the basic steps of how you can develop your first or enhance your existing summer programs. I want to preface this by saying that I will be doing another webinar that's going to be more about the nuts and bolts of the summer program, where we'll get into much more detail about planning and the steps involved. We will go over that a little bit in this presentation, but primarily I want to discuss how a curriculum can not only make it much easier for you to start your summer program, but it'll build the structure that you need for kids to be able to progress much faster in a shorter amount of time. I just wanted to start by asking you, thinking about these 3 questions as we go through this presentation. Number 1, what if your summer program could create life-changing progress for your clients while giving them the joy of a true camp experience? When I first started this process of developing summer programs, that was the thing that I was looking at the most. How can we bring that summer camp experience that unfortunately a lot of our kiddos never get to experience, but also mixing ABA in it so it's beneficial for them, but it's also just fun. Summer needs to be fun, especially for our kids who, unfortunately, like I said, don't get to experience it very often. What if you could simplify planning for a summer program while offering your team a program they're super excited to deliver every single day? And we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go on. This was one of the surprising things to me that I uncovered as we went through developing the first few summer programs that we did. And what if this summer your program became the highlight of your clients and your families, the families of those clients' years? And again, we'll talk about this as well. One of the things that was very surprising is how excited the families not only got before the summer program started, but as the summer program progressed. So just a quick about me, the weirdo in the Wreck-It Ralph, that's me. My name is Lee. The taco, his name is Ted. He is a BCBA in Maryland. He is my mentor, and this never would have started had it not been because of our partnership together. He is, to me, like the social skills genius in ABA. So I began my journey in retail. I was in high-level management in retail. And one of the things that I really loved about my job was being able to work directly with families and their kids. I struggled over the years. I struggled with burnout physically, I was in the hospital twice because of it. And I had no idea what ABA was. And it's funny because as I've talked to a lot of other clinicians and people in ABA, a lot of them, ABA found them or they stumbled onto it like how I did. My sister she owns a practice in Maryland, and it was through her that I started learning a little bit more about ABA. And once I experienced a session live by accident, that's a whole other story. I fell in love with it, and I knew that this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I've been in the field for 7 years as an RBT and a project coordinator for the company that I was with previously. As I mentioned, I collaborated with my mentor, Ted, to successfully develop 2 summer programs for the previous company that I was with that not only generated incredible progress for the clients that were in it, but revenue for the company. And where I'm at right now, I've finally discovered what my mission is. And my mission is to empower ABA companies to create impactful programs like the one that you see in this picture. They're just so much fun. They just truly are. Some of the things that we'll discuss in this presentation: how a summer program benefits your clients and your company, how to plan and make planning very simple for your company developing a summer program, the power of a structured curriculum and what it can do for your summer program long term, how the curriculum itself will benefit your program, and ultimately the type of ROI you can expect from a summer program, both financially and the impact that it can make for your clients. So with that, we'll start with how the summer program benefits your clients. One of the things that we saw through collecting data, obviously, was the progress that was made relatively quickly for all clients. The first summer program that we did was a split group. We had early intervention kiddos along with social skills. The early intervention group was much larger than the social skills one. And we found that the progress that was made was incredibly quick over the first 3 weeks. And then we saw generalization start to actually happen between week 5 and 6, which was surprising to the BCBAs that were in the summer program. But that can happen because of the fact that it's extended hours. These kids there's more socialization opportunities amongst peers, especially when you're talking about the social skills kids. When you have a structured curriculum, you create structured fun that provides impact. The activities that you create for your program are very centered around the type of targets that you're tracking for these clients. As I mentioned, skill generalization, the opportunity exists where you can test for generalization amongst multiple people. You have many RBTs there. You have different settings depending on where your program takes place, and several different contexts as well. And it provides a safe space for emotional regulation, especially for kids that are in the social skills groups that are learning about emotions. They feel a little bit more empowered and more comfortable to be able to feel their feelings in a space that is safe. They're not at home, so they don't have the pressure of mom is here or dad is here. It's just them with you and their peers. So these are some of the benefits that you'll see for running a summer program. Just real quick, I just wanted to include this because this was some of the feedback that we got from parents over the last couple of years that, really like you take this to heart. You really do. We had a lot of parents that talked about how they saw such a huge increase in communication abilities with their kids as they started the program. We saw that we heard a lot from a lot of parents that they were so excited about the fact that their kids were able to experience a lot of things that they never have before. Just like in this picture, we had a mobile petting zoo, and a lot of these kids had never seen these types of animals up close. So we invited the parents to come and experience it with them, and the joy that they got from seeing these kids like touch these animals and feed them, it was so cool. One of them, we had a mom tell us that every morning she struggled because as soon as they got to our program, their kids, once they got unbuckled from the seat, as soon as their little feet hit the ground, they would just take off for the front door. They couldn't wait to get in. We also had some parents telling us that as they got closer, kids started knowing where the summer program was. So while they were in the car, they would start dancing or singing some of the songs that they heard at the summer program, or even if they were listening to Cocomelon, they would actually start singing from excitement. And we had one particular client that their family relied on public transportation, and it was always very difficult to get their child to travel on a bus, travel on a subway. But because they had to use that more often to get to the summer program, he got much more comfortable and it became much easier for them. So these are just some of the indirect things that can come from having a summer program for your clients. How does it benefit your company? All these points are increased because of a summer program. You become a trusted leader in your community because of the fact that you have this additional service that you can provide to communities, especially during the summer, especially with school-age kids that a lot of parents don't know what they're going to do with their kids over the summer. It strengthens loyalty and relationships with families, even if you have existing clients and some of those clients may be new and they're going to come into your summer program. Loyalty and longevity are increased because these families understand that you're providing additional services for their kid. I mean, it boosts team engagement and morale. I mentioned that was one of those things that was surprising to me. Staff got so excited leading up to the summer program because they knew that things were going to change. It's a new environment for them. They were going to be able to test new skills, learn new skills, have new clients. And there's a lot of other things that come with the summer program, depending on the type that you create, that staff just get super excited about, and then ultimately generate significant income in just 6 to 8 weeks. I can tell you, and there's a slide for this later on, the last summer program that we did generated 6 figures in 6 weeks. That is very possible. This slide is just a simple roadmap to how you can structure your planning. And I would advise that if you start planning your summer program, follow this roadmap in order. I learned from making mistakes, doing things, plugging this in a certain way didn't work, but just follow this the way that it's written, and you're gonna find the success that you need, and you're gonna save a lot of time. I would advise that you start planning 6 to 8 months in advance, at least a minimum of 4, so that you can get into the nitty gritty details of the things that you really need to think about before you start throwing some money into a program. Establish your clear vision, goals, and timeline. Timeline especially is important. Developing how long do you want your summer program to be? What is the goal of it? What do you hope to accomplish for this program for your clients? And then secure the right location early. That is critical, especially if you don't have a center. Around this time, the counties start reaching out to, if they haven't already, start reaching out to schools to secure locations for their programs. The availability starts to shrink. So you want to start securing locations early. You want to start reaching out to places that you want to host your program as soon as you can. But first, establish those goals. Then plan for your staffing. Are you going to need to hire more staff? What type of staff do you want? Do you want to go and hire interns, which is what we did? And then from that, you can develop your recruiting strategy. From there, in stage 5, you want to define what your client enrollment goals are. How many clients do you want to have? What type of groups are you going to have in your program? Is it going to be a split group? Is it only going to be social skills? From that, you can develop a marketing strategy to attract those clients. In step 6, this is where you want to develop your budget. That was one of the mistakes that I made early on. I tried to do the budget first and then realized that as we started securing and finalizing these details, that budget ballooned very quickly. Get as detailed as possible first and then develop your budget. And then stage 7, create a curriculum for your program. Once you've got your goals, now you can start thinking about what type of activities you want to do for your program, or, use a structured curriculum like the one that I'm going to show you today. So what type of power does a structured curriculum offer? It ensures consistent, high quality services. It targets learning and faster progress because ahead of time, what type of activities you are going to be providing for your program, you can develop your goals from there. It saves time and reduces stress. You don't have to think about what type of materials do I need to create. All of that can be provided by a structured curriculum. It creates engaging, fun experiences for kids, especially when you start applying fun activities. It doesn't have to be arts and crafts. I think I've spoken to a lot of companies and that's what they use. I let them paint, I let them color. You can get a little bit more creative than that. But even if that's the route that you want to go, that does provide something different that a lot of kids get to experience. It provides clear progress tracking, like I mentioned, what type of activities, so you can center your goals based on those activities, and then you can adjust as you go on, as you progress in your program. It builds motivation for clients and staff. The more fun the clients are having, the more motivated they are going to be to continue working for the next activity over the course of however long your program is. And your staff, when they are having fun and they are engaged, burnout is significantly reduced. They are excited to be there every morning. They are excited to be there for 6 or 7 hours, depending on how long the day for your summer program is. And it maximizes productivity with flexibility. When you have a structured curriculum, you have access to it ahead of time. You can develop flexibility for your clients, or if it's a really good curriculum, it will help you determine how you can apply this curriculum for different skill levels, depending on the clients that you have. I just wanted to share a brief story from the last summer program. We used a version of this curriculum that I've refined over the last year. One of those activities that we did was we taught the kids how to create lemonade. That was initially the target, just teach them how to make lemonade. Let's see how they interact. We gave each child like a certain ingredient, and then they would have to ask each other for it. It evolved very quickly as we were going through the activity. So we had them create an actual lemonade stand. And we had our BCBA 10 and we had some text, some prompting. One of our clients needed a little bit more hand over hand type of prompting. But we were trying to teach not only social skills, but we were trying to teach functional skills as well. As the activity went on, one of the kids asked if they could sell it. And we were like, okay, let's practice this. So we used play money and we had them do a little bit of role playing with each other. So once they learned how to make the lemonade, we were teaching them how they can greet potential customers, how to handle the lemonade, how to pour it, how to give it to the client without spilling it. And then they rotated their roles. What we did was we had the staff, we went to every staff member that we had at the summer program and we just gave them random money. Some of them had exact change, some of them had a little bit more money. And we just wanted to see, based on the scenario, how the kids were going to react. And then one of the things that we added was we were like, this was towards the end of the day, let's get the parents involved. So as the parents were coming to pick up their kids, we stopped them prior to them entering. We did the same thing. We gave them money and they came in and we ran the activity the same way. The kids really enjoyed it. But one of the things that happened was this client that you see practicing with his mom, immediately right after pickup, he told his mom that he wanted to do a lemonade stand at home. He got in the car and he was writing his own grocery list. And his mom, knowing that she had the ingredients at home, decided to roll with it, which we're very thankful for. So she took him to the store and he went and he got all the ingredients. She gave him the money, practiced that money management skill. And then he went home. She asked him if he needed any help. He said, nope, I got it. And he started preparing the lemonade himself. He made his own lemonade stand at home, and this was him. And he was selling it for $1. This kid earned $75 in probably less than 2 hours, which immediately I'm like, we're all in the wrong business. But the fact that he went and took an activity that was in the summer program, used all of those skills, obviously they generalized because he independently did the activity himself, but he was so excited about it that he took it home. That was one of the things that we learned we needed to apply more of in this curriculum, was teaching functional skills, but in a play-based type of way, more hands-on. But this was one of those stories that I will never forget because this was my client and I had been working with him for 3 years. He started nonverbal to the point where he is selling lemonade. So these are the types of things that can happen from a summer program. How does the curriculum benefit your program overall? Well, it reduces planning time, which means less admin time that you would potentially have to pay. And for BCBAs, they don't have to worry so much about finding the time in between clients to plan for this summer program. It ensures consistent and high quality sessions. It simplifies the training and onboarding for staff, especially if you're going to bring in new staff for this summer program. You can base your training off of the curriculum while obviously teaching and training the basics of ABA, but you can focus primarily on just the curriculum and what do you need to teach your staff in order to implement the curriculum for your clients. It enhances skill retention and client progress in very quickly. It builds community trust and boosts enrollment. If your summer program is successful because of your curriculum and you can keep doing it year after year, there's that community trust that you get to build. It encourages peer interaction through play, especially a successful curriculum provides play-based activities. We learned that was much better received than kids just sitting around a table and giving them a worksheet or sitting around in a circle. Even though this picture is of a circle, that activity itself was very beneficial, but still, it provides the ability for kids to move around, to touch things, to interact with each other. They're much closer to each other rather than just sitting at a table. And also it adapts to meet the individual client needs. When you look at a curriculum, as I mentioned, you can take an activity, you can adapt it to your clients, or you can enhance the activity itself if you feel like it's a particular client has better skills to implement it at a higher level. Excuse me. So how does the curriculum structure your program? It establishes daily schedules. You introduce weekly themes to your program. So they're learning new things, but it builds upon the previous week's activities and themes. It balances individual lessons with group-based activities. So obviously, we use ABA-based reinforcement for the activities, and it focuses on functional skills that apply to real life situations. So I've had conversations with other ABA providers and business owners, and these are some of the common myths that I've run into that they've expressed reasons why they've never run a summer program before. Number one, probably the most consistent one is it's too expensive. But the reality is when you use a pre-designed curriculum, everything goes from there. So you're saving a lot of time. You're not having to worry about spending so much money on materials. And you can plan strategically leading up to your summer program. So you're not spending a lot of money on the back end with planning. It won't generate enough revenue. That absolutely false. Because of the fact that you're able to extend client hours, it's going to increase to more billable time. offsetting any of the program costs that you spend, and you'll see that soon. The ROI isn't worth it. You get satisfied clients who not only progress faster, but who generalize these skills into their normal environments much quicker, which ultimately makes families happy. Creating a program takes too much time. If you're using a curriculum, you're cutting your planning time almost in half, and you're reducing the stress involved in planning for a program. And I can't hire enough staff. You can be very creative with this. We learned that hiring interns, partnering with local universities and colleges, especially those that have a really good ABA program, you can hire interns, which in turn makes it much cheaper staff, but they are highly motivated to learn new skills because a lot of them may be thinking about a career in ABA. This is a very good crash course into learning a lot of skills very quickly in a short amount of time. Speaking of the ROI, so this was the last summer program that we did. We ended up paying, our costs were about $63,000, and that includes staff, but we were investing in some higher end materials for the summer programs to come. We bought like a full swing set. So your costs more than likely are going to be significantly less than this. But even with that, our total revenue was $191,000 for 6 weeks. So the average profit that we got per client was about $8,000, and the company profited $127,000 when all said and done, $127,000 in 6 weeks. That was with 15 total clients, the majority of which were in a social skills based group. We had probably, out of those 15, I would say 4 or 5 early intervention kids. 2 of those were existing clients that we just increased their hours and brought them into the summer program because we felt that they would benefit from it. This is what is possible with the summer program. And this is what is possible with a summer program that is structured with a curriculum. And I do want to mention there is a free preview pack that I created that you all have access to that talks a little bit more in depth about all of this in terms of the curriculum. But I wanted to include a case study that is in that preview pack for a client that was in the social skills group during our last summer program. So the BCBA was targeting indirect body, basically eye contact towards their social partner across 10 consecutive occurrences. Now, typically this child was doing about 2, and then it progressed to a consistent mastery of 10 occurrences somewhere around towards the end of the summer program. But we saw the trend going up, which was exactly what the BCBA wanted to see. Now, this client was one of the clients that we brought in that was an existing client where he was doing it 0 times. Like, you would talk to this kid and he would not look at you. He would look at the floor. He would look at the sky. He would look completely in the opposite direction of you. But because there were more opportunities for socialization and there were peers running around everywhere, it was hard to avoid eye contact. And we saw that start to increase as the program progressed. As I mentioned, if you're ready, here's a sneak peek of the curriculum that I have been developing over the course of 2 years now. This is what you'll get in the preview pack. You get a very in-depth curriculum overview. We talk about the methodologies for this curriculum. You're gonna get access to a full day lesson plan with all of the protocols, scripts, and materials attached to it. So you can actually try some of these activities if you want. There is one sample activity that was very successful and very well received in the program that I wanted to share with all of you. The curriculum, the reinforcement system that is a part of the curriculum is money-based, which is what we did last summer program, but I've refined it a little bit more, and there's a guide included to explain what it's about and how to implement it. There's also an assessment preview. How can you assess your clients prior to the program, particularly for a program that involves this curriculum? And there's 2 real life case studies, one of which you saw, but there's more information and it goes into more detail. What this particular curriculum, what sets it apart from some of the others that we've tried or that are out there? It's inclusive across skill levels. Every activity, you will get 3 different levels for how you can apply it based on a client's particular skill levels. If they are nonverbal, there is a way that you can apply this using visual aids that are supplied in the activity in the curriculum. It's a comprehensive ABA framework. Every single activity is based off of ABA. It's engaging and a fun design. The activities are highly fun. As I mentioned, they're play-based and they're very hands-on. There's visual and sensory accessibility. We provide all of the visual aids that you'll need for every activity if you need them. Progressive skill building, as I mentioned, each week builds upon the next. After you complete the first week, those skills are going to translate into the second week, into those activities. And you go back a little bit on some of the ones that some of the themes or the skills that you addressed the previous week, just to make sure that the kids were able to understand it. And as I mentioned, there's a custom reinforcement system that's money-based. So this is the part that's a little bit uncomfortable, but I want to mention it. The curriculum is in the pre-sale now, available for 20 spots. We are in the stage where we're completing all of it. And once it's completed, it will be available for download as a book. And as I mentioned, you'll get the morning in the curriculum. There's a morning and afternoon meeting for the kids every single day. There's a full guide for that. All of the protocols and the procedures for that particular activity will be included as well. As I mentioned, all of the protocols, materials, and visual aids will be included, available to you. The full reinforcement guide will be available in this curriculum as well. And the curriculum itself is built for 6 weeks for a 5-hour day, 5 days a week. If your program is for less time than that, you can obviously adjust the schedule to fit your needs. And then there's a comprehensive ready-to-use roadmap that's included, where we include a suggested daily schedule for your program, so that you don't have to think about that yourself. You can just apply it, and it's proven to work. If you do purchase this curriculum, what you will get long-term, you will get lifetime access to the curriculum updates. This curriculum will evolve over the next couple of years, and as it does, you won't have to worry about paying for that ever again. Anything that is included, anything that is added, you will receive at no extra cost. The curriculum right now, as it is available, will be the lowest price that it will ever be. You will also get 45-minute live support with me once you purchase. We can schedule that and we can talk more in depth about the curriculum and how we can fit it for your particular program. You will get priority support if you have any questions. Even as you're going through your summer program, please feel free. You'll have access to me anytime that you need it. And you'll also receive early access to a summer program playbook that I'm developing, where that is more about the nuts and bolts of how to create your very own summer program. So this is how much it costs, $297. That's a one-time payment. Like I said, you will never pay for anything else as it relates to this curriculum again, as it evolves over time. And if you do purchase it and you feel like it doesn't fit your needs or your program, we will gladly give you your money back. But I do firmly believe that you will enjoy this curriculum. So there's your QR code. Scan it, purchase, please. You're really gonna like it. And this presentation obviously will be available to you later on for you to access the slides and all of that information. And then, as I mentioned, I will be doing another webinar probably sometime in mid-March. And that's going to be more of a masterclass on how to step-by-step build your summer program. I'll use real-world examples and timelines. You'll have access to checklists. I'm going to give you all the tips that you'll ever need for a smoother summer. and how to run your program on a lean budget. If you think that it's expensive, I'm going to show you how you can develop it spending minimal money. That's it. Thank you again to all of you for being here, for letting me share this with you. This means the world to me. I am very happy with this curriculum, and I think that it will make an impact for your clients, both present and future, and for your companies as well.
Lee, this is awesome, man. And it's such a great way for a business to show their maturity, for your ABA therapy business, to show we're not only just taking care of stuff during the school year, we're this good. We've got our situation handled to the point where we're even doing a summer program. So it's a really great way to show that you have a mature business and operation. And also, one of my favorite quotes is Khalil Gibran, who said, "Work is love made visible." So doing this work and putting this out in the community as something that you don't really need to do, you don't have to do as a business, but it's a way to really show your love, right? And by doing this extra thing, this extra step, and using that to bring in more revenue. I had something else to say, but I also wanted to find out, how are most people paying for this? Is this an insurance thing or a private pay thing or both? How does that work?
Yeah, you're doing this basically like you would onboard any new client. You're going through insurance. You can go the private pay route, but a program like this is going to ultimately be extremely expensive for families. I would suggest definitely going the insurance route first. And what I've learned over the last couple of years, that most insurances, including Medicaid, get very excited for programs like this. They told us, Medicaid in particular, told us that they wish that more programs like this were available. And they are happy to provide the extension in hours that you need, provided that it makes sense. But we had very little pushback from any insurance when we were going through this process early on.
And also, interestingly, this is a huge opportunity for you to build those long-lasting relationships with your staff, potential future employees, for your incubation system, maybe people that are still in school or thinking about they're dipping their toes into the ABA industry and they're not sure about it. But hey, it's a short-term program. Summertime is great. But I have a friend. He's 76 years old, and he was one of he was my main mentor coming up in a past life. I always tell everybody I'm a recovering garbage man. So I worked in operations management and maintenance in a sanitation company. My friend's house got hit by Hurricane Helene, and he's 4.5 hours away from me. So I was driving back and forth, helping him out with stuff. And on these long car rides, I took the opportunity to basically interview him and tried to pull as much information out of him as I could about his life story and his career and all this. And this guy has made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and higher up in waste management and Republic Waste, all these huge companies. And when it was funny because we're going through all these different positions in the sanitation business. I said, "So what was your favorite job ever?" And he goes, "Oh, that's easy." I said, "What?" He goes, "I drove the school bus and worked at the YMCA summer camp for special needs kids. Bar none." I worked there for 4 summers in a row. That was my favorite job ever, right? It's a good opportunity to pull this together and pull your community in a little bit more, bring in potential employees, your existing employees, and build that up. But so people are already buying your package. At $297 is a wildly low price to get this package for. Arianella already bought it, and she wants to set up her one-on-one with you. This is a really great opportunity. Show your maturity, build your team up, introduce new people to your team, and tighten yourself up with your community. Build those bonds. This is the great kind of stuff that you can do for marketing, your social media, and all that stuff. Make sure you're covering all the bases that everybody knows about your summer program.
Yeah, and you know what? For the clients themselves, especially the school-age kids, as a parent, the summertime is one of the most stressful times. What am I going to do with my kids? But even those kids that have IEPs at school, they have the possibility of joining. I don't know what they call it. I think it changes. Like in Maryland, they call it the ESY programs, or the summer school programs that are available for free from the schools. I've seen those programs. I've had clients in those programs. Those kids would benefit more from a program like this. where they can be taught social skills, functional skills. Those are the types of things that the schools are not equipped or don't have the resources to teach them directly. Imagine offering to your community a summer program that will teach that to them in a short amount of time. Those are the types of things that for your community, it opens their eyes and it builds that kind of trust with your company.
Awesome. Great job. I think everybody should at least look at putting together a summer program, and we'll make sure that we have your contact information, everything on the post. This webinar is going to go up. This recording will be posted here in the next couple of days on the group. So if you guys have any friends, other people in the ABA industry, share this video with them so they can check it out. This is a really great opportunity. I love this kind of stuff. And it's so good for your business. You guys have to make money so that you can go help more people. And this is another stream of income, another way to add to your bottom line. Really, really great work, Lee.
No, thank you. I really appreciate the time. And if anybody wants to reach out, if you want to learn more, please don't hesitate. Send me a message and we can schedule a time to talk, or we can just chat directly. Anything that I can do to help, I'm available. And you mentioned the price. Honestly, I set this price for this group because a lot of the members of this group were instrumental in helping me refine this curriculum. I've been able to have a lot of conversations with members of the group. So this is my way. If you want to see it that way, this is my way of thanking you, because I know that this group, yeah.
That's a big thank you. That's really inexpensive. So that's awesome. All right, you guys are great. Thanks everybody for showing up. We'll let you go a little bit early here. We love you guys. We'll see you on the group. Lee, again, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it.
See you in the next one.
You're already doing the work, investing your time, your energy, and your vision. So let's make it count. Build something that works without breaking you. The EBCBA Blueprint is the way. Get started for free with our foundation course.